What up, all my fight fans? So I know this ain't breaking news because it was talked about all throughout the week about Donald Trump talking about how he wants the UFC to take place at the White House next year. I do believe 4th of July lands on a Saturday next year, so it's very, very possible we could be getting either a pay-per-view or a fight night, more likely a pay-per-view taking place at the White House next year. Guys, what do we say to that? I think it's great. I mean, it's interesting. It's different. There was always some fun activities. I believe it was like an Easter egg hunt or something like that at the White House. So I do believe it is going to be more of a historic, monumental, more of a historic event that's going to take place for the UFC, because we all remember what the UFC was close to 30 years ago, almost 40 years ago. It really wasn't nothing. These guys were struggling to get into anywhere they can to get their fights sanctioned and such, where you had so many governments outlawing them, so many governments trying to ban them from so many different cities and so many different states, and just so many different even countries. I think even certain countries are still have it banned. It just, or recently it took off the ban. New York, them fighting in New York wasn't that long ago. When I think it was in 2016 that the New York finally uplifted the ban for them to have the UFC event there. You know what I'm saying? So like these things, it's so crazy to see how far the UFC has come with all the years they've done, with everything they have done to get to where they get to. So it's going to be a very, very historic event. That will be a once in a lifetime, I believe. Could it possibly happen down the line, years and years and years ago, later on? Possibly. You never say never. But this is, I believe, will be really, really good for the UFC if this were to take place. It would kind of suck for the fans because I can't see or can't imagine a lot of fans being there. It's not like it's going to be a stadium or anything like that. I believe it's going to be the upper echelon crowd there. It's going to be the upper elite crowd over there. You're looking at the A-listers over there. So that's all the fans. Don't even try it. Buy the pay-per-view at home. And that's what I want to talk to you about, you guys. What do you think? What will be the pay-per-view? Who would be the main event? Who would be the co-main event? I mean, are we going to do our best to have American fighters? Are we going to have like pretty much Islam and Russia pretty much take over this card, or Charles Oliveira and Brazil take over this card? Or are we really going to stack it full American fighters? And let's name a few of them. I'm hearing rumors about John Jones coming back. I will make a video regarding that. You got, of course, Kobe Covington, but he has not looked the greatest as of recently. You got Sean Strickland, who's he hasn't looked the greatest as of recently. You got Corey Sandhagen. He is going to be fighting Marab, so you never know. He could be champion by that time. There's a lot of great fights that could be taking place if we're going to make this an all-American event, where America versus some other individual in the octagon. I believe it's going to be a fun night, guys. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's a great idea for the president, or excuse me, the White House to hold a UFC event there, or you think maybe it's a little too much for the White House, a little too much for the government to do right on the White House, on the outside lawn? I'm not exactly sure where they would do it, but hey, you guys let me know. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.